60 Minutes Overtime.
What about Ukraine? Are you working on it?
Well, we are.
You are?
Actively.
Are
Yeah,
you?
actively.
This week on 60 Minutes, we sit down with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, the dealmakers who helped broker a ceasefire and hostage exchange between Israel and Hamas. Witkoff is now turning his attention to Russia's war in Ukraine. A real estate developer, Witkoff has become President Trump's special envoy for peace missions. He joined Ukraine's President Zelensky last month during a coalition of the willing and has already met one-on-one with Russian President Vladimir Putin several times.
You know, he's working on the war with Russia and Ukraine.
President Trump talked about Witkoff's first meeting with Putin during his address to Israel's parliament last week.
Steve had no idea about Russia, had no idea about Putin too much, didn't know too much about politics, wasn't that interested. He was really good at real estate, but he had that quality that I was looking for, and I didn't see it around in too many ways. And I set up the meeting with Putin, and in 5 hours he came out. I said, what the hell were you talking about for 5 hours?
As peace talks continue, the president met with Zelensky on Friday at the White House and is planning a meeting with Putin in Hungary in the coming weeks. When we spoke with Witkoff on Thursday, he told us he was optimistic that the Gaza deal has given the administration momentum and said that several other countries are looking to President Trump to broker peace.
Doing a peace deal is becoming infectious. People want to do them. People want to get to this place. You know, it's not, I don't think it's coincidental that leaders are now coming to the White House saying, how do we move a peace deal forward in Ukraine? And we're getting calls from the Iranians. So
What?
yeah. So
What are they saying? What?
peace is infectious now.
Who are the Iranians calling? You?
Well, we're there to, you know, hopefully have a long-term diplomatic solution with Iran. So.
And someone's working on that?
Oh yeah, we're working on Algeria and Morocco right now, our team, and there's going to be a peace deal there in the next, in my view, 60 days.
What about Iran? You're actually working,
Yes.
talking to them.
Absolutely.
And you're working on Ukraine. What happened with Putin today?
I think there was a very good call, very productive call. You know, we don't stop after just one deal. We keep on plugging away.
For a pair with backgrounds in real estate, matters of international peace brokering are just that, deal-making. It's an unconventional path to diplomacy. So how does it compare to traditional statecraft? We wondered how their experience translates when complex histories and decades of grievances are in the mix.
I was trained in foreign policy really in President Trump's first term by seeing an outsider president come into Washington with a different school of foreign policy than had been brought in place for the 20 or 30 years prior. And his foreign policy was really about pragmatic realism, right? Taking pragmatic stances, trying to use strength to avoid wars, and figuring out how to make deals, not lecture the world. And so the way that...
Wait, what does that mean? Make deals and not lecture the world?
Focus on interests over values sometimes, and figure out where do we have joint interests with other countries, and pursue those joint interests. And then where you have differences on interests or values, discuss those privately and try to find ways to get it to the best place possible.
Kushner has said that his perspective on deal-making often comes down to this. Issues are simple. It's the people who are complicated.
Issues are simple? Now that really is inverting the way diplomacy has worked.
Yeah. Well, I agree with him, by the way. I agree with that statement. I say all the time.
Your issues were so thorny, they're still, hard to get through.
I like to say, Leslie, and it's a version of what Jared, you quoted Jared as just saying, I like to say that we're sort of like, our title should be Secretary of Miscommunication and Correcting Miscommunication, because that's a lot of what we were doing out there. You know, we were trying to build trust between people who didn't trust each other. each other because of decades of mis and distrust, and that's not an easy thing to correct.